No, that was a sad picture right there. Now, I know a lot of you parents out there, when it comes to having kids, bikes, that's it. Everyone's, the kid's got to have a bike. And a lot of you out there can't afford to go spend, five, six, seven, $800 on a fancy bike store bike and have it maintained from the bike store. But a lot of you guys just go down to the big box stores, get your bikes there. Target, Walmart, Toys R Us, whatever. Give or take, they're all about the same bike quality. But the biggest thing is not so much the bike itself, is the way it was assembled. Not only are the people assembling it at the store generally don't know what the heck they're doing, is that a lot of times even from factory, things are just way off. So, gonna give a couple of quick pointers out here real quick. And I'm going to do a tune-up. Just got my kids some new bikes, and there's some serious need of tuning up because there's a lot of things on them don't work right. So let's take a closer look at the bike. Okay, now these new bikes, they got a lot of things to adjust on them. I'm sure you guys have all seen them. This is not our old BMX bikes we grew up with. 18, 21 speeds, dual suspension, everything like that. So let's start with one of the most basic things here, the brakes. Okay, now up here on the brakes, for those of you who don't know it, this right here can adjust tightness of the brake. So this one already here is a pretty good adjustment, but if you can pull it all the way back to the handle grip, that's way too far. Now you can always tighten it by screwing that out, and there's a lock screw right there, but that's only kind of a fine adjustment right there. It doesn't adjust very aggressively. So if it's way out of adjustments, like one of the brakes on this bike was, where it didn't do anything, you got to come back here to the brake itself, and most of them now use the Allen wrenches. You got to loosen that up, kind of pinch the brake together a little bit, pull the cable tighter, and then tighten it back up, and then you go back up to the actual brake lever and readjust it from there. Same thing kind of goes with the derailleurs. You have a rear derailleur and front derailleur. You can see the screws here, the H and an L there, for the high gear and the low gear that adjust stopping points. The rear derailleur has the same thing. This one here happens to be right there, the high and low. And there's also an adjustment back here, which is very similar to the fine adjustment on the brake lever I was just showing you. And I believe the front derailleur might have that also. If it's way out of adjustment, you'll also have to find the lock screws that hold the cable and pull it so that your gears are shifting in the proper positions where the shifters are. Back to the brakes here. I just noticed this. You see the screw right here? A lot of you probably have never even known what this is. Well, if you have the brake where it's the proper, has the proper amount of gaps in there, and the adjustment is good, but you have a brake pad that seems to scrape, one side seems to be rubbing a lot. These are stop point screws right here. So you can kind of pull the thing back to the side a little bit and screw that in, and it'll push the pad away from the tire and help to center the two brake pads on the rim so you don't have one that's sitting there rubbing. Other thing is, a lot of you don't even know this, if you have a dual suspension bike with a rear single shock like this, most of them do, this right here, this is a working screw which you can tighten or loosen depending on the weight of your child. Heavier the child, you tighten it up. The lighter the child, you loosen it up. That way you have a little, they have the proper amount of suspension give there for their weight for this bike. Okay, well, and another quick tip. For those of you who don't have cool bike stands, I'm not one of them. The other way to work on bikes, take a couple of blocks, something like this, throw it down on the ground, roll it upside down, put this on the handle grip so you don't mess up the shifters or the brakes, and work on it like that. One other crazy thing, which I know, as a guy, don't normally look at these, especially as a handy guy, because most of the time these things right here don't have any information in them whatsoever other than like 10 languages and some crappy warnings. I have found that both the manuals for these two bikes I just got my kids actually have good detailed information on how to adjust everything on this bike. It really surprised me. Adjusting not only just the brakes, but the handlebar and seat heights, both rear and front derailleurs, even talked about the wheel bearings and how to check them and put them back together. I was actually quite impressed with this, and that doesn't normally happen, especially on something that comes from a big box store. I expected just a manual that said, wear your helmet, don't crash the bike, and don't return to the store for warranty work, some crap like that. So take a look at this. If you just bought yourself a bike from those big box stores, it'll help you get on the right track to fixing it here. But my advice is no matter how good it seems to work, go through and double check every nut and bolt. One of the bikes that I personally got from one of the big box stores, I took it out on a mountain trail. Everything seemed to be a proper adjustment. It was the first time out. I thought, what the heck, it should be good to go. I was driving down the trail and the handlebars came right off. Yeah, wasn't fun. Wasn't fun. So here we go. Let's tune up this bike. Okay, there we go. Now hopefully we'll have a happy kid and a good summer ahead of us there with these bikes. So guys, like I said, for those of you who are experienced in doing this, check out those owner's manuals. If you threw it away, just look it up online. Most any company will have the owner manuals available in a PDF form or something like that, and you can flip through it, and it gives good advice. They would just be extremely long and drawn out here if I try to do it all in the video. Thanks again. As always, please subscribe. Click on my main channel here and check out all the rest of my videos. I've got a bunch out there that help you with just about anything around the house. Thank you again.